This is obviously a historical campaign across the board. We're talking about the presidency, Congress. I talked to Dr. Shulman.
Dennis.
Yeah, I know your name.
Dennis. Call me Dennis, please.
I have to call him Dennis. I talked to Dennis when I came in, and just to hear him speak, and you heard from him earlier, and some of the things that he's pressing, I mean, historical times in our history that the current congressman has just negated. And for me, a lot of those things I take very personal, just with my background and some of the things that I've been through. So I made a commitment to him that I had his back, and that's what we say in my neighborhood. I have your back. And that means a lot to me, and I'll always stick to that. And for these next 20 days, I'll be fighting for you, fighting with you beside you.
This election is about change, all about change. It has to be about change.
I'm somebody who cares deeply about doing the right thing and who gets very upset when things are not done as well as they could be done. One thing that I think everybody's aware of when they know me is that I am an anti-procrastinator. So if I'm trying to solve a problem, I would rather work on it early than late. I don't put it off.
I was a poor kid who grew up in Worcester, Massachusetts. I lost my vision gradually during childhood. By the time I went to college, which was Brandeis in 1968, yes, I'm 58 years old, but my wife is much younger than me. Going to Brandeis as a blind person, it was a wonderful place to be, but it was before there was a disability program of sorts. There wasn't, technology, which I love. I bless my computer every time I boot it up because now I have a speaking computer. Didn't exist. All the kind of adaptations that that would have been, and there were very few other people with handicaps at the college. So what it meant was I had to invent solutions to problems.
I'm sure people notice that I often refer to my blindness partly to make people aware that I feel comfortable. They don't have to watch. God forbid they say, "Did you see this movie?" And then get very upset. But I imagine, and these questions sometimes come up. People say, "Well, how are you going to do the work in Congress? And how are you going to read the material?" Now, in fact, that's the least of my problems because anything that's on the internet is accessible to me because of technology, speech synthesizers and computers and all that. I can use internet, I can use email, I can use Microsoft Word, I can use Outlook Express, I can use, Internet Explorer. But I think people sometimes don't ask me that question, feel uncomfortable about asking that question.
I want you to meet Dr. Gerstle and his daughter, Jessica.
Hi, Mr. Gerstle. How are you?
He was out with the Ridgewood Bike Club.
And I had an accident 5 years ago, bicycle accident. I'm paralyzed from the neck down.
Geez.
Both McCain and Obama at least supported the bill to increase federal spending for stem cell lines from IVF embryos,
right,
which Garrett has twice voted against.
Right.
And does he really think he's representing his constituents in making these votes?
No, and of course not. Of course not. But they're the vast majority of people in this district, so first of all, are pro-choice, and they're pro-stem cell.
What I respect in politicians, and I respect in people, is when, and I respect in myself, is when I can get past the ideology and look at something straight. In some ways, that is what a psychotherapist has to do. You have to give up all the preconceived notions. And you have to listen as carefully as you can to the person, because only then can you come up with something new, some new understanding, some new insight. It's in some ways, every time you have an ideology or a theory, it gets in the way of the psychotherapy work. And I think it gets in the way of the political work as well, and certainly political decisions. In graduate school, I became very involved in learning psychotherapy practice. Mostly that, I would say. It was the focus on how to help people with individual problems deal with their individual problems.
And 5 years ago, 2003, I was ordained as a rabbi. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful mix. But I would say that if I wanted to say kind of what is the theme of all this and how does this lead to running for Congress, I would say it's because it's always about problem solving.
I believe what the Republicans in my district have to understand is that what I'm offering them is sensible leadership. I'm not a partisan. I'm not playing out of a Democratic playbook. I am very concerned about the things that they're concerned about. I know how important it is for Republicans, Democrats, and Independents in this country and in this district to feel proud of their country.